connection.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Cyber Arena here, live in Kiev for the Starladder Season 9 LAN playoffs. We've got one more game for day number 1, 8 BO1s today. We have another 4 tomorrow, then the group stage is over. The tie breaks, if needed, come next. The playoffs begin after that. $215,000 in prize money waiting for these teams. And we've got one last game for today. This one is a pretty important match for, well, I'd say especially for one of the teams. You've got RoX.KiS versus EG. RoX.KiS, a lot of people are just kind of writing them off at this point. There's no way they beat EG, they say. There's no way they finish in the top 2, they say. Well, we'll see if that's true here. Of course, I'm LD. I'm joined by Merlini of Beyond the Summit. And Ben, we're going to see some Godblack Dota going the other way against him in this particular draft. I guess we'll hop into the draft in a second. But
yeah,
as I was mentioning before we went to break, EG, they like to run a lot of heroes that RoX.KiS do. Tree, Abaddon, Dazzle, they run all of these heroes.
And odds are actually like 70-30, I think, EG RoX.KiS, which is the same odds as IG RoX.KiS. And
I think that's fair.
I think that EG is stronger than IG, though.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to say any team is more than 70-30.
That's true.
Like, I feel like there's a certain point where it's just ridiculous. Like, they're not that much better. Sure, they're very likely to win, but it's a BO1. Shit happens.
Yeah.
That was pretty much my conversation earlier with Kuroki after the loss to D. No, not DK, it was EG. It's basically like, dude, shit happens in Dota. That's how it is. That's how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. And into the draft.
Summary for our cast. Shit happens.
Shit happens. Kills were missed. Sunstrikes were missed. Ice Invoker happens. Oh boy. I'll sleep easy tonight though. RoX.KiS on the dire side. EG on the Radiant with Eternal Envy. EE Sama himself standing in here. And as I mentioned, I somewhat spoiled the draft, but we're going to see Dazzle, we're going to see Tree, and we're going to see Abaddon, 2 of these heroes on EG side. The Naga was removed. I do like this Darkseer ban. They'll take that away from Universe, but there's so many offlaners left. You just cannot ban out the offlane against EG. You got to worry about all these Arteezy heroes. And, well, there's your Arteezy hero. Arteezy OD for mid. Good luck to Solo. He's going to need it.
They could always run a safe lane Invoker and then aggressive try, and then
who's going to lane mid against OD?
Viper, Razor. Those were the very popular counters in 6.679, I believe.
I feel like they do have to go for something like that, though, because
you have to shut down Arteezy.
You have to shut him down. If you run Invoker mid, then one of your cores is probably going to be fairly useless in the mid game. And I feel against EG, you just got to take the fight to them early. You can't let them get comfortable in the lanes.
Mm-hmm.
If this team has a good laning stage, normally the game just falls apart. They don't, EG used to be known for throwing. There's a website devoted to it. When did EG throw last.com? It's not been updated since last July. This lineup doesn't throw.
They do not.
Sometimes they lose close games late, but I've yet to see them where I'm like, man, that was just a big freaking throw. Like,
I think they just straight up pick Viper right now. It matches up very well versus OD. It's very good versus Treant Protector 2, and it just pretty much doesn't allow OD to do that much in most stages of the game. If he gets BKB, he gets Viper Struck. If he doesn't get BKB, he gets Viper Struck. You can't orb walk through the tree ult anymore, but it's just still damn annoying to deal with. And his ult isn't going to be able to one-shot Viper because of corrosive skin. And it pairs very well versus Abaddon. And yeah, Viper's fallen off a lot, but I think it is definitely a go-to hero for RoX.KiS, and they need to win the lane versus OD. They can't just automatically chalk that up to a loss.
Yeah, they'll want to go aggressive here, but EG they have great defensive supports, but where those heroes do struggle is in the early levels of the laning stage. Treant not good in the tri-lane. If he's in an aggressive tri-lane scenario where he's defending against that, they can look to dual lane him. Maybe they run Treant +1, I guess Dazzle +1, although now they've got 2 melee heroes already with this Timbersaw. So EG, a lot of damage from their 2 solos later on, but really lacking in stuns and crowd control. And I wonder how does RoX.KiS look to punish this? Normally you see a lineup like this is a great lineup for a hero like Weaver potentially, although he's been banned by RoX.KiS, a great lineup for Storm. 0 stun lineup for EG.
Storm won't fare well versus OD either.
Yeah, they'll run the Razor for mid. And now they've got their 3 cores. So they'll look at a support for this last pick for RoX.KiS. And EG, on their end, looking for their safe lane farmer for EE. What do you think EE plays this game?
Maybe you just pot him again?
Yeah, it's a safe pick.
I think they can get away with Morphling since RoX.KiS has like no disable. besides Cold Snap and Deafening Blast. Those are all very, very weak when it comes to shutting down a Morphling. Who else could they run that EE likes to play? I think they could even get away with a Drow Ranger this game if you really wanted to. But I mean, they only have 2 ranged heroes. They don't have the lineup for a Drow Ranger. They need some sort of push too. So Drow Ranger kind of out of the question.
Normally, if you run Drow, you want Visage. That's basically the main place where Cloud9 picked the hero.
Lifestealer, not very good here. Not very good versus Abaddon, not very good versus Razor.
Gyro, not very good here either.
He's not very popular either. I would say Morphling would be really good. Potom would be really good. Those are my 2 high priority picks for EG right now.
Okay, I can agree with both of those. As for RoX.KiS needing a support, they need some sort of initiation, it seems. They just have nothing right now. Lion, Shadow Shaman.
Shadow Shaman would be really good. I would like that a lot because they have Invoker, Nature's Prophet, and Shadow Shaman. And Evil Genius doesn't have that much AoE. They have some with Dazzle, Shadow Wave, and Timber Saw damage. But in terms of clearing creep waves for pushes, RoX.KiS can kind of take down towers very early.
And RoX.KiS are dire, so they have that going for them as well with the 2 Necro Book builders, the wards at the Roche Pit early on. Maybe that's something they look to do, but that does make their laning stage extremely passive, running Abaddon and Shadow Shaman. Even Abaddon Lion is quite passive, so they've just got to put all their faith in the Razor winning that mid matchup.
They also need an explosive push lineup. They can't do a split push and chip against a Treant Protector. But
that's where the wards are good, so
yeah.
Shadow Shaman makes sense there. RoX.KiS have run...
What is the EG going to pick, though?
They need a farmer. I mean, I think, like you mentioned, either Potom or... Wow, Luna. Oh, that's
pretty interesting. I view Luna as more early mid oriented, and I don't view her as a terribly great 4-on-5 hero, which is usually how it is when EG plays. OD doesn't really contribute that much, gets Midas farms away, and with Luna in the mix, though, that means that RoX.KiS is going to come under pressure. Their T1 is going to come under pressure very, very early, and at the same time, EG, they don't have that much early game fight though. OD and Luna, what are they going to contribute for 20-25 minutes?
And RoX.KiS have so much stuff to just tank and Eclipse anyway. Your Treants, possibly Forge Spirit, so Eclipse feels fairly useless this game. Unless he has a great ambush. E could go for early treads, Aquila, drums, or just a BKB in the mix instead of going for a standard.
BKB's so-so here.
Even then, there's still a static link. There's still a lot of right click from Exhort Invoker. I'm assuming that's what we're going to see this game. Solo normally plays Exhort. They'll go Ancient Apparition, so that's their second support. Zero stun in terms of the support.
How did AA get all the way to the last pick? That's unusual.
I don't know.
AA is usually...
It fits well, actually, with the Invoker and Prophet. So they've got basically a semi-global lineup here.
Their late game's ass, though. They have, Razor and Invoker?
It's not as good as EG's. It's definitely not as good as EG's.
Yeah, it's really weak, and I don't see RoX.KiS being able to end the game early, because AA and Razor, they're not very good at pushing down towers early. Neither is Abaddon. And I think they just need a little bit extra umph from their supports, too, or one of their solo lanes. Just 4 Spirits plus Nature's Prophet isn't going to be enough. I don't think. Not against the Timber.
Well, with that being said, we're into the game now. It's our final match of the day. RoX.KiS versus Team Evil Geniuses. On day 1, RoX.KiS 0-1 so far, EG 1-0. They could turn their fortunes very quickly with a win here. Should RoX.KiS lose, however, their chances of ending up in the top 2 grow very, very slim. RoX.KiS on the dire side, EG on the Radiant. We'll start with RoX.KiS, your underdog. Sodoy playing the Nature's Prophet. Solo on the Razor. Boots first build for him. 6-3-3. Actually not a solo Invoker. Interesting. Well, it'll be BZZ is perfect handling the Invoker. Yol on the Ancient Apparition. And that does leave... Who am I missing here? Oh, Godblack. How could I forget? Godblack himself. He'll be playing the Abaddon. And on the Radiant side, Team Evil Geniuses. RTZ with also Boots first on the solo mid OD. Universe playing the Timbersaw. PPD will be the Treant Protector, quickly becoming his signature hero. Eternal Envy, who's back to crumbling 24/7 apparently on the Luna. And that leaves Zai as your Dazzle. So, in the end, both teams make a move into the enemy jungle. Fear, who is here in spirit but not in body, resting up that arm back in North America. He gets a shout out now. They have placed a pretty good ward to scout out the jungle. Both teams have deployed wards near the enemy pole camp, blocking those. And, well, let's see who's going to have the edge in the off lane. They're running an Invoker Ancient Apparition dual lane. not a common lane.
Not a common lane at all. And if they were against a tri-lane, I think they'd be in a lot of trouble. But EG's actually tri-laning top, and Tree is just not the best support. Even if he rotates bottom and makes it a 2-1-2, Timbersaw is going to do okay, but Invoker's going to be perfectly okay. And this is a very risky position for Invoker too. Usually, you'd expect Invoker to be safe lane solo, especially when you have a Razor. But yeah, so interesting lanes. I think that RoX.KiS slightly outdunked them in the lanes, whatever verb form.
Outthunk them.
Outdunked them.
I thought you said outdunked them at first.
Dunk? Dude, where is Axe anyways?
Yeah, where's the chop? Well, it's up to Alliance to bring him into play, I imagine. Not really any other teams running him that much right now. Well, there's been a few, but mostly it's Alliance. As for RoX.KiS, I really like this offensive dual lane. 2 ranged heroes with Chilling Touch. Universe is actually going to be under a lot of harassment, and if they use the Living Armor here, then they will not have it for other lanes. In theory, Solo can do well against Arteezy mid as well, sitting at -7 damage for now. The one lane where RoX.KiS seems weak, though, is their safe lane. The Abaddon Prophet, not an easy matchup. Meanwhile, bottom lane, that BZZ is going to go down. He's actually the first blood here. EG, clean him up. Wow. I didn't see the start of that, but just got run down.
Don't underestimate Leech Seed, man. 4.5 seconds slow. And it does a lot of damage at level 1, too. 144. That's a lot.
They had a lot of time to chase him there, and he was just caught a bit too far out. So EG running the double melee dual lane, apparently too strong anyway. Well, so much for that being a good matchup versus Timbersaw.
I think that AA should have stood out of the lane and let Invoker get some levels, too.
Just go top instead.
Well,
what else would you do?
He can't go top. He just needs Invoker to get levels, though, because Invoker is so level dependent, which he's almost always in a solo lane, while Arteezy will get all of his damage right in the mid, sitting at 1 damage. Good luck last hitting.
He's still CSing okay, but, well, he won't be for the next minute or so. Well, not minute, but next 20 seconds or so. Damage link will end fairly soon, and he'll go back to last hitting. Does get the living armor. At least he's not going to die mid. We'll Astral again, but Solo really doesn't care about this. Static Link just has such a low mana cost. Like you said, this used to be the kind of way to go to beat OD mid, but generally where teams struggled is maybe you win the lane a bit, but then later on in the game, OD just brings so much more to your team than Razor normally does. Way more AoE, way more burst damage, more late game potential. The teams that run Razor normally just have to have the big edge in the first, 10 minutes or so. And View's diving top a bit, but not going to fully commit to that one.
I think EG is close to winning all 3 lanes, though. Well, they won bottom already. They got a first blood on there. Top lane, we see Luna with a whopping 12-1 CS, compared to that at 4-0 of Nature's Prophet. So they're doing very well in that lane. And in the mid lane, we see Arteezy with the equal last hits for OD, which I think is a win for him against this matchup.
Yeah, he went the smart build, going boots first, because if Razor goes boots first, you don't have them, you just lose all your damage. But can always just run away. He's playing it fairly conservatively. There's been one time where he lost a bunch, but otherwise he's been pretty good at just breaking the link as quickly as possible. And even with 50 damage, still has a shot at some of these last hits, though not a great one, to be fair. Yeah, Astrals gets one. He'll take what he can get. But he's not the only one. The nice thing with the Luna pick is as long as one of those heroes is getting farmed, they're in good shape for the mid game. Uh-oh. Godblack held out a little bit. Lucid Beam's here. Now the Pilly Touch, or the Poison Touch, comes in. So many touches this game. Defensively denies himself. He will commit suicide here, but Eternal Envy happily accepts the seppuku.
Things are going disastrous for RoX.KiS this early game.
Yeah. Losing the top lane. They gave up first blood bottom. They're barely winning mid.
They have worse late game, and they don't really have a good comeback potential. Their 5-on-5 is mediocre. I guess their global gank presence is pretty good, though, but it's really on the back of Invoker. Invoker has to set so many things up for them.
And he is not getting a ton out of this off lane. There is Yul setting up here, right behind Eternal Envy. EG, they actually do have an Observer Ward. Did they see this get picked up? They don't seem to be worried about the gank anyway. Well, maybe they should be, but with that Luna nighttime vision, you just can't get in. You can't get in close. She just sees all.
Living Armor is down, so it could be a very good time to go. He just cast an Arteezy in mid.
But look at this positioning. How are they going to go?
What do they have to initiate?
Yeah, exactly.
Sprout.
They have Ancient Apparition and Abaddon as their supports. These heroes can't initiate. They can't set up any kills. Solo's diving mid, wants to go on Arteezy. There was a Prophet TP. It got canceled. Maybe Sidoi should have committed to that. How many TPs are there on Cloud9? Zai no TP, Envy no TP, and maybe they could have gone. I guess there's always the living armor to worry about.
Yeah, maybe when he's level 6. Now he's level 6 with Iron Storm. I think they can dive him, but without it, it's very risky at their tower.
Even if they get that kill, then Envy gets a little more space top, and they can just continue farming on Universe bottom. So he'll pick up his Arcane Boots now, has the TP scrolls well, getting close to level 5, and Cloud9 at least breaking even in the mid lane and getting the kill, or forcing out the suicide top and getting the first blood bottom in good shape in the other 2 lanes. Uh-oh, Solo's hunting couriers here. 2 more right clicks, but he gets leech seeded. He's been baited in a bit. Now Solo's going to overextend. Sunstrike is there. It doesn't matter. Arteezy brings down the hammer. Bit of a rubber mallet with that one. Doesn't do that much damage yet, but gets the kill.
That's very aggressive going for the chicken that early. He doesn't have that much damage.
If he had stolen damage for like 2 more seconds, I think he gets that, but didn't have it.
Even then, I don't think it's worth his life to get a chicken kill. Not as your solo mid. As a support or offlaner, I think it's okay.
Yol first to TP out, and now this is going to mean a move onto Sidoi. Abaddon's coming in from range. He does pop the heal. He's got a shield available as well. Envy continuing his pursuit. Suddenly the tree comes in, and he starts clubbing PPD. 1 more right click. Self-sprout, not going to save him. He's not even done yet. He wants no, he'll just ward.
I like PPD's tree. He's like always just up in your face. Like even from first blood, he's just right-clicking people like a man.
Yeah, there was a game I watched where he ganked mid at level 1 at like 2 minutes in the game and just strolled by, leech seeded the guy, right-clicked him 4 times and got the kill.
Easy kills.
I mean, the hero feels kind of useless in the laning stage, but like you said, leech seeded, it's a bit surprising how much it can do.
Mm-hmm. And he just pretty much kept Arteezy alive in mid lane, and kind of Solo isn't able to harass him out at all. Arteezy's actually leading in CS now.
Well, what's the plan for RoX.KiS here? The Tree Club, 10-1. Wow, that's quite impressive. But yeah, what are RoX.KiS going to do at this point? Sidoi, late Midas if he goes for one. I guess BZZ is fairly close to a Midas of his own, but what will they make happen with those Midases if they choose to go for them?
Not that much. It's very hard to outfarm a Luna and an OD, especially since OD is most likely going Midas himself too. 15, 40 gold in the bank. Not really sure what Luna is going to go for, but Luna already with Treads and Aquila, 45 CS. She is by far the #1 net leader, or leader in last hits.
I just feel like RoX.KiS have no ability to exert pressure on the map.
Nope.
Who's their the only ganker is Exhort Invoker, who hardly even qualifies, but nobody else can do anything to get kills.
It's just they went away from their standard draft.
Yeah, normally they have like a Starladder, a Centaur here.
Starladder, Centaur, or Luna is their usual like Superman hero with Abaddon, and they just have none of those. No lockdown.
Well, Ben, you sound like a family member died.
I'm really scared for RoX.KiS. I don't like they just have no comeback potential. It's just a little bit of everything. Like they have Nature's Prophet and Invoker for the summons and the kind of push. They have like AA, Nature's Prophet, Invoker for global presence, but no one's really going to set things up. They have Razor to win the lane in mid, but not really good versus anyone else. They have Abaddon for defensive purposes, but no one can play super offensively anyways. I mean, look at this. Zai's not even like that close to dying.
Envy Poppy Eclipse at maximum distance, but it was split fairly evenly between 2 heroes. Now Zai's going to be able to retreat out. Meanwhile, they do bring down 2. The Luna actually falls. The Tree died as well, and Zai goes for the TP out. He'll be successful. Yeah, Tree got Sunstrike behind the tower, it looks like. So they found him trying to make a play. So they get 2 in the end. Arteezy does pick up his Midas, though. He continues farming mid.
EG could have just run away.
Where's the Timbersaw been? Oh, here's Universe. I was kind of wondering what Universe has been up to. He's been fairly quiet this game since that first
Look at
one.
Yol in mid. He's getting dove.
Arteezy knows he's got living armor here if he needs it, and it gets... Oh, actually, it's on cooldown. Now a Sunstrike coming through. Oh, Arteezy! That could have been a crucial kill. They're just a tiny bit off the mark. They still keep on chasing. They needed it. Didn't get it. Solo also dies top lane to Universe while that's happening. Oh, if that Sunstrike was just a tiny bit over, just a little bit farther south. They get that kill on Arteezy, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's a level 4 Exhort.
Yeah, that would have been really big because then they would have got 2 kills on the very important heroes, on the Luna and on the OD. But as it stands, like OD's kind of left unchecked. They can't put out any pressure around the map. They can't force them to come to fights because their 5-man is just not that strong. They lost a T1 on top, but going off lane is very, very risky. and they're just super content to farm.
And even though they end up losing Envy top as well as Tree's death doesn't really matter. The Luna's still farming well. In fact, Envy is almost the leader in net worth. And that's against an Invoker who has gone Midas.
And that's when he's offlane.
Yes, offlane, dual lane Luna. Not your normal offlaner, but they're making it work.
They are indeed. Treant Predictor's also getting very good levels. He's 5.5. Dazzle's level 6-2. Looking at Abaddon, he's only level 5. And AA is only level 5 too, so the supports on EG slightly edging them out in terms of experience. 3,000 gold and experience lead going in favor of EG.
They're going to pop a smoke mid, and then they're going to head up the lane. The courier comes in, delivering that initial staff of wizardry. Arteezy will work towards his 4 staff here, and Universe will make this move. He already has a blink dagger on Knight. It's just a blink rush after the arcane boots. That just jumps right onto the H apparition. This will be a quick and easy kill. Prophet Ult gets deployed, it won't matter. Universe jams at home. Nice Timber Chain from him. Now needs to make his retreat though. Sunstrike coming in, not gonna connect. Universe, another Timber Chain. ODO gets dropped and they just keep on chasing forward. Shield, heal on thrown out on Sadoy, keeping him alive for now. Arteezy forced to retreat, but should be able to do so. And if they overextend, there's an overgrowth, and Universe comes back in. He's gonna look to clean up the shield. I think Universe overextending a bit here. They're missing from low ground to high ground. If that last auto attack, the first auto attack hit, they get that kill. Oh, now Arteezy. Now it's his turn to run. There's a Sunstrike here. Will it be dropped? PPD heading towards the south side. Are they going to Sunstrike Arteezy? Nope, doesn't look like it. Godlike comes in bottom. He gets leech seeded. Still the Forge Spirits pursuing Arteezy, but he's just not worried about it with the living armor, I guess. Meanwhile, Envy diving, Lucent Beam, gets Godblack as well. Then TP's out immediately, and the lack of stuns mean they can't stop TPs.
Timbersaw's way more farm than I expected him to be, too.
How do you feel about this early blink from Universe? He just went ham with that.
It's nice initiate, though. They don't really have that great of initiate. Like Poison Touch is mediocre, maybe like Astral Imprisonment, but that also gives RoX.KiS time to set up too. Maybe an Overgrowth coming out from PBD, but it just gives them so much front-loaded burst too. Like that plus an A ultimate, that plus like a Lucent Beam even, and someone's probably going to die and before Abaddon can even react.
Yeah, and it just forces RoX.KiS to make a panic decision, basically. Do they fight? Do they run? And he's not an easy target to bring down with living armor there at his disposal, potentially a shallow grave and a heal as well. So he lives a lot longer than you'd expect. So I agree. I think it's a pretty good choice.
It's unusual.
It certainly caught RoX.KiS off guard. They were not expecting that blink dagger mid.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
Even just for that element of surprise.
Blowing up Furion.
Yeah. EE went for a Quelling Blade, just a nice little touch on the Luna. Can benefit from it in the jungle, but mostly just good against the Nature's Prophet. And he'll be as efficient as possible in the woods. Hasn't dominated a creep yet, but expect to see one soon and see the Ancient stacked further. Just a double stack for now.
And there's a 4-staff already up on Arteezy. So looking at net worth, see Arteezy and Luna taking those reigns as number 1 and 2. Invoker closely behind at number 3. He does have Midas in phase. Number 4 is the Timbersaw, though. So EG coming out far ahead of this early game. They are so good at playing greedy, and the second tower is about to fall, too.
There's an Astral mid lane. Universe thinking about a blink-in initiation, but Godlike does have his ultimate. Not really wanting to commit to it, maybe just hoping to force out a TP or two, but won't get that either. Still, EG don't need to fight. They can just keep on farming, and anything they do to put RoX.KiS in a defensive posture is...
And there's like no way they can kill the OD too. Like they have no catch for him. And if he gets cold snapped, if he gets cold feeded or whatever, he can just force that belt so easily. So easily. And they have living armor to back him up.
It's like they need a Hex on Invoker to make things happen. And that's a tall order for any team. To say at 14 minutes, you can't do anything until you get a Hex. But how else do they get kills?
They can wait for EG to overextend, but...
The only thing their lineup has, which, I mean, you mentioned the global potential, but we haven't seen it.
No one can set up kills, though. Maybe
TP into Sprout, I guess. That's about it. Yeah, or it's a cold snap maybe. But now the big jump in, initiation from Universe, not committed fully yet. He'll start losing some damage here. Sunstrike comes in. Arteezy's still fine, though.
Still almost connected with him. I think that would have been a death for him, too. He's been close to avoiding a lot of deaths.
Yeah, there was also this kill here, which probably would have been the bigger one, but just barely missed on the Sunstrike there as well. Well, 15 minutes in, 8-3. EG are leading comfortably at that, and a win here puts them 2-0 in the group, and in prime position to finish and move into the winners bracket. Oh, Arteezy diving deep mid. He doesn't even use the ultimate, just cleans up Yol. Timbersaw drives through and casually drops a chakram there just to make Arteezy's life a bit easier. But he's getting farmed. It's really making me remember MLG. They force out a Godlike ultimate, diving forward, not going to commit to that kill either. Meanwhile, top lane, Cold Snap. They do find PPD. RoX.KiS at long last. They get on the board with a kill, but it's not the heroes they want. It's not Arteezy. It's not Eternal Envy. It's not even Universe. And these are the heroes they need to be shutting down. So nice kill, but doesn't feel like it's enough.
AO comes out of mid. Arteezy very, very low.
Force that to the low ground. Prophet ult cooling down. Nice defensive Astral. Dodges that nuke from Solo. Arteezy, however, has to be worried about a Sunstrike. It's cooling down in 1 second's time. Can he make it out safely? Sunstrike has been thrown out. Not sure where it is. I think it might have been top lane. Yeah, Envy's now on the chase there. They loosen beam. They keep on chasing Arteezy. Can they get in range for another Plasma Field? Not able to do so. Maybe they could have used that Sunstrike mid to kill off Arteezy.
Yeah.
It looks like he went for it near the tower top.
And RoX.KiS getting some chip damage on towers, but won't really amount to much with PPD in the game on that Treant Protector. And they really do need to take down towers, though, to kind of kill this gold lead. It's 8,000 gold lead in favor of EG, where it's only took about 16 minutes in, and this is an OD and a Luna. Like, about as greedy as your lineups get.
And their offlaner's a Timbersaw, who's not exactly a utility hero. Needs a lot of farm to... Oh, well, wants a lot of farm. Doesn't need, I suppose, but...
Yeah, he's able to go this like glass cannon utility build too with no HP.
RoX.KiS just it does feel hopeless, to be honest. I guess their plan will be just get some basic items up, drums for solo, double Necro book, and maybe they can throw Necros at EG and get a few kills from last will damage. But that's...
Well, they can finally force the issue at towers with that, too, which is a big deal.
EG can defend towers, I feel.
I think so, too. But they kind of have to take the risk that they won't defend towers. They'll just give them free ones because they don't want to fight in Necro books.
We'll see what EG look to do. Envy, Ancient Stack, is still sitting at just 2. I don't think he's... Well, actually, you know what? I think he killed it off earlier, and this is a second stack, I want to say. It looked like it was empty before. But... Well, it looks like he's not going to get the 17.5-minute stack. Will Zai get there in time? Maybe. Meanwhile, bottom lane. PZZ is perfect. Just pushing out. Yeah, he'll go for the stack now, so. Yeah, Envy's farming quite well, and there's just no pressure.
OD's farming super well, too. Already has his ultimate orb, too. This is Rut-Row mode.
This is the MLG OD. We're going to see him go full 420 mode here. Headshots only. Oh boy, so Doi's been found. Universe jumps in, drops the chain. Envy collects his free kill, courtesy of Mr. Sahil himself. And there's just no pressure anywhere else. Like, they're pushing through bottom, they're annoying. Arteezy's probably complaining that he can't free farm, but they're not actually threatening to kill him. Whereas EG, if they think they've overextended, can go for a kill. And they've got Overgrowth here. They're not even going to use it yet. They'll let Godlike pop his ultimate. Now they retreat out a bit. They'll just fend off the initiation, then come back in for round number 2. Oh, Universe narrowly going to miss there on the Timber Chain. That might allow RoX.KiS to escape successfully, but they got to keep on running. They can't fight against this, and that's without the Luna. The Luna's top lane. Envy's not even joining the fight, and now he threatens high ground. Sends in the Wolf. There's another Astral here. Can they go on Mr. Solo? Yeah, they can. Oh, boy. That's a hammer and a half. Godlike, no ultimate just yet. One more right click would bring him down. They can't quite get in range. Are they going to continue chasing? Arteezy, 4-step forward. He astrals another, then keeps on going forward. Universe over the top with the chakram. Timber Chain's there. He does miss on the Whirling Death. Misses on the Timber Chain as well. A rare miscue from Universe. Still looks pretty good for him. Meanwhile, the Invoker's going to fall, and Godlike keeps on retreating out. Blink in. Now, that one's going to connect, and the ultimate was not yet back online for about 8 seconds to go. And again, fighting without Envy. He's just raxing them. He's just winning the game at 90 minutes. This is checkmate. You can see the checkmate coming in like 2 or 3 moves. In fact, Rex already down. RoX.KiS, GG any minute.
Wow, Universe just blows up AA too. This is just brutal, man.
Do you just go back to this being limitations of RoX.KiS or just EG being amazing?
I think limitations of RoX.KiS. I mean, EG, they drafted very well and they played very well, but RoX.KiS, I think they're too one-dimensional. Like, Abaddon pick up here. What has Abaddon done this game? Like, absolutely nothing.
And then they followed up with an H apparition, and how many times do we see just TPs out, heroes running away? Well, RoX.KiS will stand their ground now. They do manage to turn the fight around a bit, get 2 kills. The Luna's still top. They're still fighting just 2 fronts at once. EG might pay for that. They'll drop a grave here on Zai. Should be falling nonetheless. The damage has been done top, but EG will just throw 3 kills away. Well, Ben, when I said the throws, I haven't seen this team throw in a long time.
It's never too late.
It's never too late to start throwing.
But yeah, I think it's back to the limitations of RoX.KiS. The draft here was just lackluster. They didn't have late game, they didn't have push, they didn't have good lanes. So, I mean, if you don't have any of those, what do you have? You have a fair amount of utility, but to what end?
They had some global, that's really it.
Yeah, but without a Spectre, the threat of a Spectre is just very, very weak.
Oh, Sama pops the ultimate, turns it around, picks off BZZ.
Universe has a Dagon for crying out loud.
This is like a we've already won, get out of my game kind of item, I feel.
Yeah. And EG just showing, I would say, a fair amount of flexibility, like going with a mass late, not really a mass late game, but a very strong late game strat, and still doing very well in the lane, doing very well in the mid game, not giving up any towers, and taking a few of their own.
Eternal Envy is so disinterested in these fights, he's just pushing him mid, while Universe is casually driving 3 heroes back. Then Envy's like, oh great, there's heroes in this game. I could maybe go for some kills. Could maybe have tread switch there for a losing beam. Not going to matter though, just keeps on pounding away at the tier 3 mid. The top lane's pushed through to the base. The tier 4 is under serious assault. And RoX.KiS, it's just one last fight at this point. They'll give it a good college try, but you don't see it working now. Scythe is picked up on the OD. This is the real hammer for Arteezy, and he wants to drop it. He'll look for the initiation, 4-step in, drops the Hex. Now the OD ultimate comes flying forth, and everybody just melts. 3 heroes dead, make it 4. Oh, it could be a team wipe. It doesn't even matter. That should be GG. EG are 2-0 on day 1. DK and EG, the 2 most impressive teams through the first day of play.
EG looking strong, man. I think they're definitely well poised to take first place in Group B.
And DK already pretty much guaranteed first place in Group A with just a match versus MVP Phoenix to go. So DK and EG, they're the 2 toughest teams in Starladder Season 9 so far.
Bring an OD back, man.
East versus West.
You can't ban out all 3. You can't ban out...
I think you still want to give them OD over those other heroes. Like, I don't even think it's that close.
But you can... I guess you could ban it in the second phase. But then what do you want to deal with? Universe's... or Universe's Darkseer? Do you want to give them Shadow Fiend?
I like their bans. I didn't like their picks that much. Like, again, going back to the Abaddon pick, what does the hero offer you that early? Sure, it's what you're used to picking, but it's just such an easily punished hero. He's got no stuns, he's got no lockdown. They also drafted cores that didn't have a whole lot of tempo control. Prophet,
Razor.
And Razor especially. Invoker does offer you quite a bit, but they ran him in the off lane where he's not able to really do
And
his
he gave
thing
up First Blood.
Yeah. And then Arteezy, well, he was losing mid a bit, but it's an OD versus a Razor. He doesn't have to win the lane, just has to get his levels and get some CS.
Yeah, and he got tree armor too. PPD played a very good tree. It definitely gave him the lead in the early game, killing one of the supports on top as well as getting First Blood on bottom lane. He pretty much kind of won 2 lanes for him in the first 5 minutes of the game.
I still feel like against this team though, you do want to ban as much as possible out of Naga, Ember, and Lycan in the first phase.
Yes.
I don't think that this really changes that, even though they go on to lose this game to the OD. I mean, do you think OD was scarier than Naga?
No. I think Naga, Ember, and Lycan are the 3. That's pretty much what every team should be looking to ban, I think.
Or pick.
Or pick, yeah. Unless you're, I guess, DK, you can work against Lycan, which is pretty good.
I think it's okay to give them away as well if you pick heroes that can deal with, like, that can counter them super well. Like, for example, if you get Navi's given away Naga at times, they've given away Lycan at times, but they'll get like Doom, Batrider in the first phase, and then they've got just insane lockdown for the mid game, heroes that can consistently pick them off, find kills around the map, and spread it out. So, well,
things are not looking very good for RoX.KiS. They narrowly made it through the qualifiers, and as it stands right now, who did they play last? Na'Vi, right? So they may very well end up in the same fate as MVP Phoenix. They have a tough matchup as their third one. MVP Phoenix has to play DK, RoX.KiS has to play Na'Vi, and then they're probably going to, they're almost certainly in the lower bracket.
I will say, I feel like Navi's actually a better matchup for RoX.KiS. Like, they've had better results against RoX.KiS than EG.
This is true. But, I mean, I think Na'Vi is going to turn things up because they really need to win that match if they want to if they want to advance to the winner's bracket.
Yeah, sure. Again, they're known for being the loser's bracket comeback team, but you know, that's one thing when you're in a double elimination 4-team tournament where every match is the best of 3. It's another thing entirely when you've got 2 BO1s just to get out of the bottom 8.
Who wins RoX.KiS versus MVP Phoenix? I think that's an interesting match.
I think MVP Phoenix could actually beat them, honestly.
I think so too.
I'm not saying they're better, but I think they could beat them in the BO1. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up our final match of the day. I believe we're going to take a look at the group standings now, and we should just talk about the playoff picture as it shapes up heading into day number 2. No, we're not going to talk about them yet. We'll talk about them soon. Anything else that kind of stands out to you? Like, what are the other storylines from day number 1?
I think DK being able to handle Lycan was very impressive. I think that's the biggest thing to me, because Lycan came into this
They're
tournament.
the only team that's shown any ability to handle that hero,
Yes,
I would say.
but it is Radiant Lycan, which is something to consider too. But they played very well around it and just didn't really let Lycan do his thing. When Lycan's thing is usually very easy to execute. You sneak in a Roshan sometimes, you split push, you farm Necro 3, you'd be really annoying, you crush in team fights. That's generally what you do. But they just completely shut him down, and like aside from that, like Ember Spirit and what was the other one? Ember Spirit and Naga, they pretty much just did their thing, and no one's really been able to shut them down completely well either.
Yeah. What other storylines were there today? Empire and Alliance both look pretty shaky.
Yeah, that was like, that's
I think more
that's
so
not so much news.
more
though.
more so Empire. Alliance, honestly, I felt if they played a bit better, they could have beaten DK in that first game. So I think Alliance is the best 1-1 team right now to me in terms of, sure, they're not top of the group, but
Empire's been looking
they were
really
very
weak for the
close.
last month, I'd say, or 3 weeks. 3 weeks to a month. They've been looking extremely.
So for that second slot, I'm feeling like Alliance is the team more likely to. They play Empire, winner of that's pretty much second place. And
Yes.
I think it's Alliance right now.
Yeah, I agree. So, but that's pending DK beats MVP Phoenix, which is, yeah, you know how I feel about that. Anyways, and then in Group B, so we have EG very likely to take first. They had to beat IG, which is, it's not easy. It's not terribly easy to beat IG. We saw how they just dismantled RoX.KiS.
I think that match can go either way. And I honestly, all the team, I'd say all top 6 feel very close to me, and a lot of the players that we've talked to have said the same thing, that RoX.KiS, MVP Phoenix look a bit weaker, but any of the other teams can take a game off of the other. Sure, you've got teams like DK, maybe EG that are the favorites right now, but it's not, like 80-20 favorites. It's like 65-35, 60-40 favorites.
So that's our games to look out for, right? We have
Alliance versus Empire.
Alliance versus Empire,
And then in the other group, you have
EG.
IG versus EG.
IG versus
Those
EG.
are the 2 big games, I feel.
Well, you have Navi versus RoX.KiS too.
Yes.
Well, I guess.
Is that to me is like, yeah, I could see RoX.KiS winning.
Well, it's just important for playoff positions, right? Because EG might end up 3-0, and then if RoX.KiS loses to, or if RoX.KiS beats out Navi, then you end up with 3-1-2s.
Yeah, you could end up with 3-0 EG, and I don't know if this. I don't know. I think it's just first place from Group B is going to play the the second place team from Group A in the winners bracket, but yeah, maybe they get to choose their opponent. I'm not. Whoever has the best record, if there's one team 3-0, but I'm guessing it's just B1 plays A2, something like that.
I would hope you get to choose your opponent, or I mean, else there's no distinction between first and second, which is kind of lame. In TI, you got to choose your opponent, right? So
Yeah.
if they're trying to model it off TI, I think it would be fair for them to choose their opponent, and then like first place you get to play probably MVP Phoenix if you're Group B and RoX.KiS if you're Group A. So I think that's reasonable.
Everyone would try and choose MVP Phoenix, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might choose RoX.KiS. They seem more predictable.
Well, you have to choose someone in a different group,
yes,
right?
that's true.
So
Okay, well, any closing thoughts here? Words of wisdom, Ben, before we wrap things up?
I also think that EE is actually faring very well as a stand-in. I think that was one big question mark. It's like, well, I mean, they've used Mason for a while. Fear was supposed to play, and then EE, he's a fantastic carry player, but how well is he going to mesh with the EG? I think the answer is he's meshing in great.
I think the biggest question was not like how good of a carry player is there enough space on the map for Arteezy and Envy on one team? They drafted OD Luna, and they made it work.
They made it work well.
Can other teams punish that with better drafts? Maybe.
Probably.
I could see IG punishing that. They're much more aggressive. They're good at, if you get too greedy, just hitting the kill switch. But EG so far, 2-0, so looking strong.
I think there's been a lot of draft fails too. Like that one in particular, I think was a draft fail. IG Navi, I also think was somewhat of a draft fail.
Yeah, I feel that's this patch. This patch is about drafting more so than previous patches.
Yes. So.
And it sets up a very exciting day number 2. So coming up tomorrow, guys, we've got your 4 BO1 group stage matches. These are the final 4 matches of the group stage. After this is done, every team has played 3 matches. They played each team in the groups once. If there are ties if there's multiple teams that are vying for one of those top 2 positions, more than 2, then we have tie-break matches. If there's like first and second place are tied, they'll do the head-to-head to break it. But basically, if you're in the top half of your group, you get seeded into the winner's bracket. If you're in the bottom half, you go to the loser's bracket. So if tiebreakers are needed, we play those. Then we play the first 2 winners bracket BO3s tomorrow, the semifinals. So nobody's eliminated on day 2. Day 3 is most of the rest of the playoffs, and then day 4 is the loser bracket finals, the winner bracket finals, and the grand finals. So it's going to be a busy couple of days, Mr. Merlini.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 situations in where you get tiebreakers, though. EG has to, or sorry, Navi has to lose to RoX.KiS, or DK has to lose to MVP Phoenix. I think other than that, there's no situations where there's tiebreakers.
If Navi loses to RoX.KiS, then they are 1 and 2.
RoX.KiS is also 1 and 2, but that also means EG has to beat out the other team.
And then IG is 1 and 2. So then you do have a 3-way tie, all of them 1 and 2, and they've each beat each other once. So that would go to tiebreakers, but that to me is the most likely scenario. DK losing MVP Phoenix seems nearly impossible the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, I would say so too.
So there could be tiebreakers tomorrow, potentially, but seems less than likely.
Yeah, both of those things that happen. Navi has to lose, and EG has to win. I guess EG winning is pretty likely, though. Well, actually, it's IG.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, guys, it's been a long day 1. We've got 3 more action-packed days of Starladder Season 9 Dota headed your way. You've been watching Beyond the Summit's presentation of the Starladder Season 9 LAN Finals. $215,000 in prizes still waiting out there. Who's going to claim them? We'll find out in future days. I'm LD. He's Merlini. For now, we're signing off. Have a good one.